Hello, my wonderful Pisces. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing amazing. In today's video, I will be tapping into the energies of your love life. So it's going to be your general love reading for the week here. So pretty much whatever comes out for you guys. Okay. Okay, guys, so we have the card, the butterfly, evolving and growth, next phase, healing inner child, releasing the past. Okay. I mean, Pisces, you could be manifesting something new for yourself. There could be something that you're, like actively healing from, in the current moment. For others of you, it could just be the next phase in a connection. It doesn't have to be that you're completely moving on from someone or something. It could also just be, okay, I'm ready for the next step, right? I feel like we're at a point where we can, move on from maybe how things have been progressing how things have been progressing between the both of us. Healing inner child, releasing the past. Any sort of energetic blocks that you feel. There could be something about this connection or someone that you're connecting with that is causing maybe some sort of suppressed emotions or childhood trauma to resurface, and you're dealing with that this week. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Okay, so we have the Four of Pentacles and the Devil, something that you're most certainly healing from. Some of you could be dealing with the Capricorn. Four of Pentacles is Capricorn energy, so is the Devil card. But, I'm also getting, kind of like Saturn energy, like something that you have been avoiding doing or something that felt very difficult for you to kind of work through. You're just dealing with it, or you're dealing with it head on, like you're not trying to run from it. Four of Pentacles and the Devil card could be healing from a very toxic situation. It could be feeling like you're finally detaching from something that had a very tight hold on you, or some sort of a grip on you. Okay. I'm also sensing that someone who is currently not speaking to you could also be thinking of you quite a bit. This card could be symbolic for obsessive thinking. When you're thinking about something constantly, even to the point where you feel like you're on some sort of a hamster wheel. I'm going to start off by seeing how you're being viewed this week. Okay. Wheel of Fortune wanted to show itself here. Yeah, so this is definitely a change, a cycle coming to an end. It's a very persistent message off the bat here. How is Pisces being viewed this week? Four of Pentacles. Someone is viewing you as not as invested as you once were. And I'm not just talking emotionally, even like, physically, where it's like you could have really been invested in this situation. This could be someone that you were communicating with on like, a daily basis. This could be someone that, you have been connecting with for quite some time, but they're seeing like a decrease in your effort, where they feel like you're not as, invested as you once were, is pretty much what I'm picking up on. I'm also strongly getting here, Pisces, that this is someone who could be questioning your interest towards them in the current moment. Where it's like, does Pisces feel the same? Is Pisces losing interest? Right? Are they growing bored or impatient with the situation? But they definitely feel like you're not as invested as you once were. Okay. Two of Swords and the Knight of Cups in the challenge position. I'm strongly getting that this is someone who could feel they owe you an apology, or they want to express how they feel. But with the Two of Swords, that could be a state of denial, where there's something that is very clear to them, something that's apparent in front of them, but they're choosing not to accept it. Knight of Cups, it could be an apology, an emotional confession, but keep in mind those two cards are coming out in the challenge position, which is like this is what they're struggling with. The Two of Swords is also a strong energy of facing difficulty with seeing how you can do things differently, feeling like you're limited when it comes to options, or feeling some sort of mental restrictions here. So I feel this is someone who, yes, they feel connected to you. Yes, they want to apologize to you, but there's something here that they're in denial about. There's something here that they're not seeing clearly, even if they feel like they are, because the Two of Swords is also associated with illusions. Okay, how are you viewing them? Three of Wands. You feel like this is someone who's definitely at a distance from you. I think a part of you wonders what the future holds, but in the Three of Wands, there obviously are three wands there, and he's holding on to one. And that's symbolic for choosing a path or making a firm decision. So this is a week where you're making a firm decision when it comes to this person or this connection. Whether it's things are not progressing, I want to move forward, whether it's I want to speak to this person and create a plan. I mean, what you're choosing to do could obviously vary. We're going to clarify, but I feel like you are, making a very clear decision, maybe even a decision that you've put off for a few weeks or a few months, because you're becoming very tired of a situation that is not working out the way that you want it to. I also feel that you're growing impatient. Okay. So in your feelings, we have the Eight of Cups. Yep. Choosing to walk away from something that you feel is not fulfilling you, or it's not, you're not emotionally content. And, the Eight of Cups, guys, like as much as it's emotionally detaching, it's a very difficult energy. The reason why is it's usually something that's very difficult to walk away from because A, you feel like you've invested a lot of time and effort. B, you still feel emotionally connected to that situation in one way or another. But the reason why you're walking away, the Eight of Cups touches on some sort of a key component when it comes to the emotional department that is missing. That is very clear to you, right? And because you feel like the changes are not being made, or maybe you're viewing that very component as this is never going to change, you're choosing to detach or walk away. But it's a very difficult energy also. It's not just easy to walk away. So I am acknowledging that it could be very heavy for you this week. The Chariot, you want to move forward, you want to see some sort of progress. The Chariot's also an energy of where you could have taken a very long time to come to a decision, right? Or you could be someone who doesn't give up on situations easily. But when you make a decision to walk away, there's absolutely no turning around. Something feels like it's being finalized here. Some of you could be dealing with a Cancer. I also feel, because the Chariot card touches on forward movement, usually after a period of acceptance, accepting the dark and light side of things, or accepting, both perspectives here. So I'm strongly getting that you're analyzing the situation, you're starting to see the differences between you and this individual. And there's something here that you feel like is just not working. And it's something that you've communicated to this person time and time again, although you have not seen the changes. So maybe you detaching could be for the sake of your peace of mind, but also because you feel like if this is not progressing the way that I wanted to, then I feel like I'm wasting my time, or I feel like I'm, planting false hope in my mind. The Queen of Swords in your feelings and the Devil. Yeah, there's something that just doesn't feel healthy about this connection here for you. Queen of Swords and the Devil is being very honest with yourself. It's being very clear-minded about the situation. Okay, this is what's going on. This is what feels unhealthy. Some of you could even be acknowledging why you have been, connecting with this person. Maybe you feel like there was some sort of, trauma bonding, or you may even feel like there is an energy of you, like it could be that you feel you have some sort of an unhealthy attachment, or you feel you were connecting with this person for maybe not the right reasons. Like what's not working or what doesn't feel right is becoming very clear to you, which is causing you to want to cut ties with this person. Even if it's for the time being, I mean, Queen of Swords and Eight of Cups is you choosing not to open up, you choosing not to communicate with this person. And Queen of Swords and the Devil, it's a very honest energy. It's a very, this is what's not working and I'm cutting ties with it. right? I'm not going back and forth. I'm not going to continue, investing in something that's only bringing me down. It's not an easy thing to do, but it's a very beneficial thing to do. And I feel like with the devil upright, you could still feel connected to this person. It could be someone that you're constantly, thinking about. But I think maybe where this kind of like unhealthy energy stems from is you feel like there's nothing being done about this connection, or you're tired of waiting for something to happen. You feel like that alone is causing you to feel very drained. Hmm. We have the Queen of Pentacles clarifying the Two of Swords, and we have the Page of Swords clarifying the Knight of Cups. I mean, best believe this is someone who's still keeping tabs on you. I think there's a lot of curiosity here. But if you remember how I mentioned that this person is viewing you as someone who's not as invested as you once were, with the Queen of Pentacles here, this is an energy where she's holding that pentacle, right? This is not about gender, right, guys? But I'm just saying that, she's holding that pentacle there, and she's really analyzing, where do I want to put this pentacle? Who do I want to give it to? So this is someone who's viewing you as being very cautious with where you're investing your time and energy. Not to say that you weren't cautious in the past, but they know that you were much more invested. You were very patient with them. You were constantly giving to the connection. So for the Page of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles in the challenge position, I think I'm getting two things here. The first thing is they're wondering what you are paying attention to, where your energy is going. But they also feel like you are being very cautious with what you're sharing with them, what you're investing your time in, and they feel like you don't, or you're viewing this connection as not worthy of your time, at least in the current moment, not worthy of your time or energy. You may have a history with this person where they feel like they have watched you kind of go through phases or change as an individual. They see a lot of growth in you, like how you used to handle situations maybe in the past, or how you would react to things in the past in comparison to now. That change is very visible to this person. I think this is someone who's very intelligent with the Page of Swords, but they're not very direct. So the things they do realize about you, right? The things that they do that are visible to them, I feel like they don't communicate it to you. They kind of just take note of it and keep it to themselves. Okay, Eight of Swords. Yeah, there's definitely some sort of mental restrictions that this person feels. I did touch on that with the Two of Swords. And the Eight of Swords could also be someone who feels like they're in their own way. Whether it's, I want to communicate with Pisces, I want something to change, but then they tell themselves that it's not going to progress how they want it to, or they're assuming, the worst case scenario. Like there's some sort of pessimistic thoughts that they're feeding into, which is causing them to not go with the plan or not do something they actually want to do. Five of Pentacles. Definitely feeling like an outsider in your life. But I also wanted to, touch on the Five of Pentacles. They pretty much, the definition of this card, guys, is like they're outside of a church, right? And it's winter, as you can see. They're cold, right? If they really wanted the assistance, they can go to the church, but they're choosing not to. So in a way, you could feel if this person really wanted to do something to change the situation, they can reach out to you, but they're choosing not to. So said all that to say, you may feel that this person is operating from a space of ego or pride. We have the Two of Wands in their feelings and the Five of Swords. They are thinking about you, but they're conflicted. There's something here where this person feels if they were to reconnect with you, they would have to go back on something that they said, something that they were so sure of at the time that they communicated it to you. And that's what's causing mental conflict within this person. Do they wonder if there's a future in this connection? Do they wonder if you guys are going to reconnect? Absolutely, with the Two of Wands. But what I'm also seeing is like the ball is in their court, or they do have the ability to change the current dynamic, or at least communicate something with you, but they're very mentally conflicted. Eight of Swords, Five of Swords in their feelings. Either A, they're revisiting a disagreement or a conflict and it's causing them to remain held back, or they're feeding into, negative thoughts, and these mental restrictions are causing them to feel conflicted about this connection, but also it's causing them to face difficulty with actually figuring out a solution here. I think this is someone who feels very torn, but there's also a level of confusion. This person may also feel like in the past they were more worried about like having the last word, or something that made sense to them in the past, something that felt like it was the right thing to do. It doesn't make sense to them in the current moment. It doesn't feel worth it. So if they, said something to you in the spur of the moment, if they feel like they were rude or mean to you, maybe it was something they've done impulsively and it made sense to them, while they were speaking to you that way. But now it's like, okay, I wish I could take that back. That's just, a generic example. Two of Pentacles and the King of Wands and the potential outcome. What's the Two of Pentacles? Wow, Queen of Wands, the King of Wands, Six of Swords. I think there's this magnetic pull that this person is going to continue to feel for you. But the Two of Pentacles and the King of Wands is someone who is still, in between worlds or figuring out what they should do. The Queen of Wands is clarifying the Two of Pentacles. The Six of Swords is clarifying the King of Wands. This is someone who views you as moving away. And here's what I will say, Pisces. Like somewhere, right, along the course of this bond, you may have felt that you were kind of losing yourself in a way. And I'm not saying this to pass judgment or anything like that, right? I'm just here to help you better understand what's going on, right? So what I'm getting at here is this is someone who feels like you're gaining your confidence, you're seeing who you are, and you see what you bring to the table. Like, do you feel like you were connecting with this person and you were slowly starting to lose yourself? Or do you feel like when you were connecting with this person, you were a different version of yourself, right? Because it doesn't have to be that you were losing yourself. Maybe you were just in a different space, right? Mentally and emotionally, but they're seeing the changes. This is someone who's viewing you in a very confident and bold energy. Maybe the reason why you were giving them countless chances is because you weren't seeing your own worth. Maybe there was some sort of self-doubt, but you're stepping into your power, and that's very visible to this person. But the more you step into your power, they feel like the more you detach from the situation because it no longer resonates with you. There's a change that's very visible to them is what I'm getting at, okay? So let's see if there's anything they want to communicate here. It says, I left when I saw you with someone. Okay. I want to be more than friends. So this could be someone who feels like you're detaching. This could be someone who wants to connect with you on a deeper level. I left when I saw you with someone. Let's see. You don't know how hard it was to let you go. So even detaching from this situation, or, they're having a hard time fighting the urge to speak to you. The silence is something that is really bothering them. You could be connecting with someone new, and that could be visible to this person, or this could just be an assumption. Let's see. Look at this, guys. It was my fault, but I blamed you. So maybe this is someone who stepped out on the connection, but they were trying to justify their actions or kind of turn it on you without, instead of, taking accountability. Okay. So that's what I'm getting for you guys this week. I really do hope you were able to find a message that resonated with you here today. And thank you so much for your time.